All right, welcome to the last part of this coding along tutorial. Again, for the student portfolios, we have loaded in working data. When we are clicking on the students here, we can see some emails, all data coming from JSON placeholder. And I've created two new buttons because that's what we are going to be doing right now. We're going to be adding new data. One showing you how actions work on a page, and one showing you how a form works on a page. Well, basically, the moment you know how actions work, the form is just an extra for you. So these link to nothing, as you can see here. They have a link to. We're going to be changing that to a button or a form, as we will, instead of a link. Why? Because I'm going to show you how actions work. Now, in a regular action, as in you click on a button from a form and you do something with it, you send a request back to the server because it's a form. Remember when you didn't use JavaScript libraries, you always had to do e.prevent default in the submit event listener for a form. That's because the default behavior for a form is to actually refresh the page. So what we're now going to be doing is we're going to be changing this link. Let's start with that to a button. Class name button. Let's see if the styling stays again. It's my greatest nightmare in all these demos is doing the styling. Well, it's ugly. It's at least something. BTN. Let's see if it does this correctly. Okay. Now it's okay. Now we have a button. The button doesn't do anything. Let's create two buttons here. You know what? The form will still be a link to. I was too quick because I will show you two things. So the link again to, in this case, will be new student. That will still be needed because we were going to be loading in a form on the right side. Let's change these for places. Voila. All right, so the new student random should add something here. We're going to do some multiple things. Again, a button on itself doesn't do much. We can use on click, but like to be proper, we want to use a form and then a submit button. I want to show you that here. So instead of using the regular form tag with this, we can use a form called this. Form from React Router. And the reason we are using these actions and this form, this way of working with it, is because after each action is done, you will get React Router re-evaluating all data. So that means if there's a new user, it will automatically update that with that loader function we created earlier. So let's do a new student. So we're going to do method post. Gonna do that button in there, and form is coming from, if I'm not mistaken, React Router DOM as well. Form. So now it doesn't go anywhere, crashes basically. That's because we are going to create a action right now. So an action is executed when you are actually clicking on that method, and that makes it sure that it doesn't go to the server, but it loads client side. So a new action, spoiler, it's gonna be almost the same as loader, but it's gonna be called action. So I'm gonna be called action. And let's see. I'm going to comment this out for a second because we're going to be using it. So this action is coming from This is just a function that we declare, and we're going to, again, just like the loader, tell it to the route that if there is an action called, it's going to be this action. So in the router for, where were we? The sidebar. Yeah. So for home, we're going to have an action called, let me check. So action as sidebar action, and here it's going to be sidebar action. So that means that whenever there's an action, it's going to be called there. You define null for the route. Yes. We will get to that in a second. Let's clean this up. All right. So we have our sidebar action. We have our action here. And now we actually have to do something. We're going to return a new student. That's what we are going to do, of course, because it's a new student. And we're going to create a student. I think we have get student and get student. So create student, and that's going to be a random name. Let's just use my name for now. So create student is a function in here. Well, it will be. So in our service, we will get our create student. Now the issue is that we create student. We do not have local data to work with. So I'm just going to add some, we're going to create a student in here. Let's just say that it has a name and an email, which should suffice. Name is John Doe, email john@email.com. That's done. And now we're going to save it in the local storage. And then we're going to update our get students to actually show it here in our local storage as well. We're going to, add it to the array, because this is an array of students, and we're going to add the array of other ones as well. So student. I'm going to take a break and basically rework this with local storage, and I will show you in a second. All right, welcome back. And we have created some dummy details. Again, you can see this basic action. I will commit it now. Basic action for random student. So if you go to that commit on the GitHub repo, then you can see all the code. So again, get students has just been expanded to just also take the students from local storage. If they are there, combine them and add them here. And the create student, it will be getting it from the local storage, add it to it, and then set it again. All right. What is now possible, you can click on random and you can get a John Doe. You can keep clicking and it keeps creating, of course, but to remove them, you need to clear the local storage. But now you have it. Now, if you click on this one, nothing happens here. That means that you can also rework the get student to also search in the local storage for you as well. I won't I'm not going to do that in this video. You can add that yourself. But now you see how actions work. So the next step and the last step would be to create a small form where we give our data to it and actually create a new entry in here that is actually also from local storage for now. And we can click on it and actually see it in action. Let's go and create a new form component that we can create student form.jsx. We can add some styling and 2 files. I just copy pasted everything from the React Bootstrap part from last session. So let me think. Since this is a form, we will check how to actually get that data inside our loader. Let me think. So the onChange goes away for now. More importantly is that everything has a name called email, and here a name is username or name, also fine by me. We're going to encapsulate that with the form tag, form method posts, form method close the form. Voila. So we have our form, student form. Now we want to show this again. We have a button, of course. Button. Is there a different button here? Bootstrap. Type submit. And let's again, we have created a new component, and we wanted to show here when we click on form, because now it doesn't work. So we're gonna reroute it. We're gonna make a new child. Route, which goes to, I thought it was new student. We are going to remove the loader because we don't have it. And we are going to, what was it called again? Student form. And we're going to immediately add an action because like we have a sidebar action. We're also going to have a form action. So action, form action. Immediately I'm going to add it here. Of course it will crash for now. I'm doing multiple things at the same time. Action as form action. So that means to tell, like, it tells React Router DOM that an action has happened and that it needs to re-evaluate the data, which we need because, of course, we're going to create a new student. Then it needs to reload the students here. So let's go back to the form. Let's create a action. We can, you know what? Again, copy paste your own code. We have an action. Boom. Action, create student. Create student is not identified, so we're going to import create student from the data from the service. All right, I think we have most of it. Let's see if it works. Yep. Okay, styling is not. Let's see. Can I do class name container and put in some margins? Yeah, fine. Okay, it's not that beautiful, but again, it will do for now. Cannot post new student. That does not work. So let's figure that out for now. But again, using a form, we're gonna make sure to capture that form with a submit. I don't think we can use a submit button. Maybe we can do a different type. Give me a second and I will prepare most of the things we need for this form. All right, let's finalize this. So I had to look up some stuff, and again, this is flying by at the seat of my pants, as they say. So I am fixing it live with you. In action, like with the loader, you can get multiple things. So one of them is the request. And the second of them is the params. So params we don't need, but for example, if this was an edit field, then we would have new student slash or edit slash 1, for example. And then the parameter will be here. So you're updating for one student. Now we're creating a whole different student. Now to get our details out of it, you can use something like form data. So we want to have all the form data from the request. How does it know what to give you? That's very important to know. You saw me earlier place a name to every input field. The form controls are regular input fields behind the scenes. That means that these, I'm gonna call it full name to be more clear. These are very much important when you are requesting form data, because now you can just for example, get the email this way. It will get the correct value from the form data. I'm gonna get the full name. That's one way of doing it, of getting both of them one by one. Or if you have a larger form, you can do something. You can do something like this. Again, props to the excellent. Well, it's the same for everyone, but props to this the excellent tutorial at the React Router, which has the same way of working with it. From entries, form data should suffice. All right, this will take everything from form data here, and for each one we'll place everything in updates. So updates.email will have a value, updates.fullname will have a value, etc., etc. All right, that's for the more creative student. For now, let's create the actual student, and we're gonna pass along some data. We're gonna pass along email and full name. Why is this complaining? Parsing error. Oops, there's another one. Yep. Okay, so we're gonna create one, and instead of returning student, we're gonna redirect our thing, because now we want to go back to the home page and see what happened with that student. So a redirect is available because we're passing along a response. This a redirect is available from React Router DOM. Redirects. Oh, that's Bootstrap. That's not the correct one. Import redirect from React Router DOM. Auto completion. Let's just redirect to either the student itself, but we will redirect to the you know what? Yeah, no, I want to see that actual student. So let's refresh. Email m@ehb, Mike, submit, and it cannot post to new student. So something is wrong. We will catch that in a second. But first of all, we need to rework this create student function to actually save it in the list. All right, I'm back with the final solution. There was a bit of a unique situation, let's just say. I was using a form include from or import from React Router DOM, which is the form that makes a form go to a client side like request. It blocks the request from going to the server. But I also have a form in React Bootstrap. So both tags, I could not use the regular form because then it fails. So the trick that I found is that you include the form as a different under a different name. So the form from React Router DOM, I imported as form as router form. So that means I could use this, which is my name for it, and then I can have the functionality of the form from React Bootstrap and the form from React Router DOM. So again, what did I do? I fixed the forms. I create my action. Again, I'm getting all my form data. I'm retrieving the email and the full name. I'm creating a new student with those two details, and I'm redirecting to the student/student ID. The service I've reworked a bit. You can look at that in the GitHub repo. So get students I did not touch. Get student to click on it for the new ones. I got the list this time instead of straight from JSON placeholder. I retrieved this list because this list automatically compiles the one from JSON placeholder and my local storage. So 2 birds in 1 stone. And then I filter out the student that I need, and I'm returning that student. That's it. Then the create student has the most logic into it, which means I am getting email full name. I build up a basic student with, at this point, a random ID. I don't care for this application. If there's an email, I override it with the email and the full name, and then I store it in the local storage. So time to test everything. Let's create our John Doe for now. So John Doe, if I click on it, I have John Doe, perfect, and all the rest still works. If I click on a form, I can do my email. So mike@ehb.be and Mike de Rijke. If I submit this, I get Mike de Rijke, and I redirect immediately to the correct one. So that's about it for this tutorial. It's been a bit of a longer one than usual, but I hope you learned something. So now in 3 coding along sessions, we've learned the basics from React. We've learned to work with hooks, events, logic, conditional rendering, and now another very important tool set called the React Router. You should be able to now build very structurally safe and sturdy applications in React. So now it's up to you to branch out to different parts, just like my students who are going into the animations directory and into the 3D direction. So good luck. If you want anything else, just leave a comment below, and good luck in your further development endeavors.